Alright, today I want to use Heracross in OU. Heracross used to be a really cool Pokemon back in the day. I don't think it's ever had the best time in any particular metagame, but Heracross has always been a low-key threat that definitely demands respect. However, most recently, it's had some difficult times keeping up in the higher tiers, mainly because I believe it has a sort of a low speed stat of 85, which leaves it exploited by the more offensively oriented Pokemon, where anything that's hitting base 100 speeds can outspeed it no problem. And Heracross doesn't have the greatest defenses, so it's going to be pretty easy to take down, especially since it uses close combat and guts with a flame orb or whatever. So it's pretty easy to chip down and exploit in that regard. But Heracross is a pretty strong wall breaker, and if you don't want to fight stall in OU, or if you want to fight stall and win, then Heracross isn't the worst option you have to take stall on. With that being said, of course, you have to contend with things like Corviknight and in previous generations, Skarmory or Celesteela. So this typing does leave certain things to be desired. You just have to know what you're facing and what the limitations are. So here we've got a standard Heracross set for OU. We've got Close Combat and Facade. Close Combat, of course, is your main move you want to be clicking all the time. And Facade is good to hit things that would normally resist fighting that aren't ghost type, I suppose. And specifically poison types, usually like Toxapex and Tentacruel, depending on which tier you're in. And Facade is really quite strong, even without the what do I want to say, without stab. So it's not a bad move to click if maybe your opponent is low and you don't want to get the defense drops from close combat. Facade is a good move. Finally, we have Earthquake on this set. Earthquake, I think, is pretty important for Heracross and OU because it hits Toxapex. So if you Swords Dance and they switch in, and then you Earthquake them and they're dead, well, that's great. But Facade and close combat, not really sure KOs on Toxapex, so Earthquake is really nice for that. Of course, you do miss out on Stone Edge for Pokemon like Zapdos or Corviknight, but I just have to learn to deal with that, I think. And of course, you need to have Swords Dance, I think, in order to be able to turn those 2-hit KOs into OKOs. That's pretty dang important, especially when you need to be sweeping at the end of the game with Flame Orb. The choice Scarf Heracross I don't think is particularly good, and so I really think you have to go with the Flame Orb set if you want to make Heracross do any kind of work. Now, one of the Pokemon that would give Heracross sort of a hard time in the OU tier is not only because it's direct competition, but also because it beats it typing-wise, is Buzzwole. Now, Buzzwole is also bug fighting type. Bug and fighting actually resist each other in terms of typing, so Buzzwole naturally resists any move that Heracross wants to go for, right? It's going to resist close combat, it'll resist Mega Horn. We don't have Mega Horn, but it would. And Facade is, a decent option, but Buzzwole is so physically tanky that it's probably going to not do very much. And because Heracross naturally wears itself down with the Flame Orb and its defense drops, doesn't even matter that Buzzwole doesn't really beat it back. It's just going to naturally beat Heracross 1v1 over the course of a game. So we want a way to break through that, and this Landorus set here is designed to bait in and destroy Buzzwoles. So this is sort of a diet version of the Gen 7 Fly named Z set. We've got Power Herb Fly with Swords Dance, Earthquake, and Knockoff. Now, of course, this will be a little bit weaker than maybe a Soft Sand or a Life Orb even Swords Dance set. And it doesn't have Explosion, which means that, there's going to be a bit more of a difficult time taking on opposing Landoruses, but we do have Knockoff, so we can knock off the Landoruses. They can't get passive leftovers on us. And we can Swords Dance boost that knockoff, so we can probably beat the 1v1 for Landorus in that regard. We do not want to necessarily mess around with Landorus though, because if they knock us off, then we don't get that Power Herb, and once the Power Herb is gone, especially for Toxic, then it's really hard to do anything with Fly. So if they had a Buzzwole in the back and they needed that Power Herb for whatever reason, and getting that knocked off, that would be really bad. So this team does struggle a little bit with Landorus, opposing Landorus, so I have to watch out for that. But I think this set is definitely a fun one to try out. Now I've got Heatran next up, and Heatran is here to deal with fairies like Tapu Lele, and also it's here to be really good SPDF for things like Blacephalon, and so we was running, you know, almost max SPDF. I put an air balloon over leftovers. The leftovers can be pretty important, but looking at my team and looking at any ground type, really that's a major problem when I'm that Earthquake weak. So I decided to put air balloon on. It lets me beat certain variants of Garchomp, and it means that I can at least get a free switch in to the ground type move at least once. So I do like leftovers on Heatramp Air Balloon just to sort of need it on this particular team. Tyranitar, this is SPDF-Tar, can help us with Blacephalon as well as Glide Moltres, and it also has Thunderwave. Thunderwave is pretty nice for this team, generally speaking. Not only is my Heatran pretty slow, but Heracross is decently slow. And if I can get a Thunderwave on certain Pokemon, like even Dragapult, right, then maybe a +2 Earthquake can knock that out from Heracross later on in the game. So it's pretty important to get a nice Thunderwave spread throughout the team. This is also our Stealth Rocker. We have no hazard removal, which is a problem. Maybe Landorus would normally want to be the hazard remover for this team, but it is currently occupied doing other things. Next up we got Gengar. This is our Scarfmon. It's going to outspeed basically all the Scarfers that are ran on the tier. About a nice 110 base speed. Scarf Gengar is a little bit weaker than other versions of Gengar, so you have to watch out for that. And as opposed to the Ultra Beasts, it doesn't have any way to Beast Boost after it gets a Scarf KO. So it's just going to remain weak for the remainder of its life. We did give it Hex over Trick or any other move, like Destiny Bond, simply because that will synergize well with the team. We've got the Thunderwave on Tyranitar, and then of course we've got a Mungus right there. So we'll have status on at least a few Mons, hopefully, and the Hex should help turn maybe almost OHKOs or almost KOs into KOs. That's the thinking there. And then finally we got the Mungus. This Mungus is running the normal moves you'd expect a Mungus to run. We've got a Sludge Bomb. I could replace that with Clear Smog. So maybe I'll do that as we play these games, but we're just going to stick with Sludge Bomb for right now. And the last move is Stun Spore. Stun Spore is good because after the Mungus gets off an initial Spore, well, a lot of times it's pretty easy to set up on. Toxic is an option. And Toxic on a Mungus, of course, is really nice because they're Poison type. But if they go into a Steel type, I want to be able to Stun Spore. I think that's a more useful thing for this team overall. Again, we want to slow things down to put them in range of Heracross' speed tier. The reason Amoonguss is here is because Rillaboom sort of messes this team up, right? Rillaboom almost one-shots Gengar. I think it's like 88% is what it does with Grassy Glide, so you can't deal with Rillaboom with your Gengar unless you're absolute full max health. T-Tar, Heatran, of course, not good answers to Rillaboom, and this Landorus does have Fly, but it is going to have to take Grassy Glide, and it can't really switch in. So having this Rocky Helmet Amoonguss is nice. It will resist the Rillaboom's hit nicely. It could go with Tangrowth, but Tangrowth has a hard time beating opposing Rillaboom, and I think I just wanted to try out Amoonguss, especially with the Spore. Alright, that's enough about the team. Let's find a battle. Alright. Well, they do have a Buzzwole, so that's good. Alright, right off the bat, I'm going to lead with the Tyranitar. If they go off into the Buzzwole, I have a Amoonguss, and I want to get up my Stealth Rock as soon as possible. I think that's important. Similarly, if they go Ferrothorn, I have maybe a couple options. They could have Body Press. I feel like I want to keep this around for the Heatran, for the Zapdos, for the Dragapult. I'm not going to sack it. We're going to go into Heracross. Okay, they do knock off, which means I'm not going to get my Flame Orb boost, but I don't think that's particularly a problem. Let's see. I'm going to go into... I'm going to Amoonguss here. A pretty safe switch in, I think. Alright. I did not think they were going to go into Dragapult on the Heracross, but I guess they didn't fear the knockoff. Fair enough. I'm going to just click Spore here. Okay, let's go back into Ferrothorn. Fine. I'm going to Heracross here. Okay, there's the quick knockoff again. A quick Earthquake here. Okay. And a quick close combat. I'm sort of wasting my Heracross early on, which is a bit unfortunate. But if it means I can break through this Ferrothorn, then that's fine by me. And they are getting up a lot of spikes, which I'm not a big fan of. Alright, well I don't have any hazard removal, so this Heracross is dead, unfortunately. I can just U-turn out safely. The Ferrothorn is somewhat weakened, which is fine by me. Let's see. I'm gonna go into Etran and click Magma Storm. If they go into Blissey, if I could have gotten off the Magma Storm there, that would have been nice. Now I have to taunt it. Then we'll click Toxic. Alright, well this is exciting. Would have been nice if I could have lived that, but it is what it is. Alright. Cool. So the Bliss is low, which really helps the Gengar quite a lot. So now I need to go into something that immediately threatens that. I'm going to go into Landorus. And I'm actually going to set up a Swords Dance, I think. Yeah, they want to teleport, that's fine. They're still really low. So I think Sludge Wave might even kill. Okay. Click Knock Off here. Now I can't get static even, which is really nice. Click Earthquake here. They roost. Good. Alright, well at least we got one play there, right? Click Knock Off. Getting this chip down is good for my Gengar. And their Eruption, which I don't really know how I feel about that play. Gonna click Earthquake. Even if they go into their Buzzwole, it should be fine. Only way Buzzwole is a problem is if they are Z-Fly. I'm gonna burn my Fly at this point. Just because I want to double down there. Alright, let's go Gengar. Gengar is Scarf, it'll be a problem for the Dragapult. Heatran is low, and the Buzzwole doesn't really do much to Gengar, in theory at least. And if they do go into Buzzwole, I could always switch into my Mungus as well. So we'll go into Heatran. I want to do a quick calc here. Dragapult. I don't know what set they are. We'll just do this. And Gengar. Yeah, Shadow Ball Okos. Okay. So I'm just going to click Shadow Ball then. Good, 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 good. I'm surprised they saved their Buzzwole in the back. Okay. This could, in theory, be Sucker Punch, but I don't really have anything for that if they are. Good. Okay. At this point, I think I just want to get Chip on this. Actually not sure if Ice Punch kills, but I'm also not sure if this is offensive Buzzwole, seeing as how they saved it in the back. And I have Zapdos and Ferrothorn, which is a pretty good defensive core, but we shall see. Okay, so the Ice Punch does kill. Fair enough. And let's go into this, and I'm going to click Spore. Oh. Okay, or I'll just lose. Oh well. Oh wow. Okay. Well, apparently, I should have clicked Rock Blast. I didn't want to click Rock Blast there because it felt like it was risky. I just wanted to get off damage in case I lived somehow. But let's look at the Buzzwole set here. It's for my own edification here. Yeah, obviously Rock Blast would have done way more if I'd hit. So that's a bit unfortunate. I wonder if that was Choice Banded Buzzwole, which is why I did so much damage. Alright. A bit unfortunate there. That was definitely a choke on my part. But yeah, I don't know what I guess I should have just risked the Rock Blast, but what is how much does Amoonguss take? Amoonguss from +1, Max attack, adamant. Okay, I guess I should have known that was choice banded by the cop. Alright, that's my bad. That is my bad. Alright. I'm gonna lead off with Trinitar, then lead off with Conkeldurr. I can go into my Mungus. Lead off with Crocodile, which is a decent option. And I have Stuff Orb. But I did lead off Tapu Lele. And this puts them in a bit of an awkward position. Are they gonna go for Focus Blast turn 1? Personally, I feel like I need this for the Blacephalon. But I need a Mungus for the Conkeldurr. Yeah, there's no way to Psychic here, I feel like. I'm gonna go Mungus. Okay, the Moonblast is the safe mid-ground play, that's fine. I'm gonna put something to sleep here. Okay, they go Conkeldurr. That's fair enough. I didn't think this would be the thing that would beat me. But what do you know? Okay, yep, that's what I expected to come out there. Alright, so now the Corviknight is paralyzed, which I can definitely deal with. Now they're gonna get a slow U-turn off. So I want to go into something that's offensively threatening. I'm gonna go into Gengar. Okay, so go for U-turn, which is correct. Now if they go into their Lele or the Blacephalon, I will outspeed them because I'm Choice Scarf. So hopefully they make that play because I'd be happy about that. Alright, last time we played against or with the Blacephalon, I showed that I don't know what the heck my speed tier is, so I'm just going to double check for my sanity. Good. That's what I thought. Good, I'm going to click Shadow Ball, and it's dead. Good. So they didn't scout for Choice Scarf, which is the kind of misplay I was hoping for. Alright, now this is almost certainly Moxie. I'm going to go to my Heracross, because it'll resist Knockoff and Earthquake. Good. I got an unfortunate crit, but there's nothing I can do about that. If we go for Gastrodon... Well, actually, no, there's no way to go Gastrodon. Yeah, they're definitely going to go into the Corviknight, so I should go into my Heatran. Yep, I'm going to click Magma Storm here. They don't really have a good switch into this, I don't think. They could just go hard Gastrodon, which would definitely be a play. And then, of course, I miss again. I want to keep the balloon on this if I can manage it. I'm going to go into Heracross. If they burn me, that'd be really useful, as they don't want to try to risk that. I'll click Close Combat here. Some damage off on the Corviknight. As I get a crit, which is really nice. I'm actually going to SD up. If they decide to roost, then I will be a lot stronger in the following turn. And I'll get even more damage off on them. So they really can't switch into this. Which is what Heracross is supposed to do, right? It's supposed to break through walls. It's supposed to threaten the team offensively. Alright. At this point, I think I want to go into... Amoonguss, maybe? Okay, good. They went for knockoff again. Okay. Now, if we'll go to Corviknight. OUD Fog, sure, why not? Amoonguss, Giga Drain does absolutely nothing, and I don't want to let them sit up. So I'm going to go to Landorus. I can actually set up a Sword Stance in front of this. It has not burned any sleep turns. And now I'm going to go look at Conkeldurr, OU Guts against a +2 Landorus. Does Earthquake one-shot? Earthquake does one-shot, good. Okay, now I can click Knockoff here. I don't particularly care. Corviknight got a little bit of leftovers back, but that's all it got. Okay. Alright. Gastron. Let's go with physically defensive. +2 I don't kill, and I don't want to lose this for no good reason. So I think I'm actually going to go into Trinitar. It doesn't really do much at this point. And I can get frozen. Great. Alright. So I'm going to go into Amoonguss now. Alright. And then I can click Giga Drain pretty safely here. Because Conkeldurr doesn't really beat Amoonguss 1v1 as far as I know. And I can click Spore again here. As he'll wake up or they'll switch out, which I guess they could actually do that. So I'll click Sun Spore here. Oh man, that's really unfortunate. I was hoping that that would get rewarded. Alright, well, can't win them all. Alright, Stealth Rock up. Okay, this is not even choiced at all. Good to know. So I will just stack this. Don't want to make any hero plays into Gengar. Okay. Sludge Wave does a bit more to Crocodile, I think. Yeah, let's go for Sludge Wave. Alright, the stack the Tapu Lele, that's really good. Okay. They clicked Knock Off the previous 2 times. I think I actually want to go into my Landorus this time around. Okay, they clicked Knock Off again. I'm just going to click Earthquake, or actually I'm going to click Knock Off my own. If they stay in, that means that they're no longer Scarfed. If they go into Gastrodon, that means they lose their leftovers. And now my, let's see. Heatran is still on a balloon, for whatever that's worth. I want to keep my Landorus around, because if it ever gets to set up on a Conkeldurr, or... Well, it can't set up on Conk, it's going to wake up now. Let's sack the Heracross. And I can go into Amoonguss here. And I can click the Save Giga Drain. Well, it's safe unless they freeze me. But they did not. Good. I didn't speak that into existence. Okay, I'm going to click Spore again here. Okay, now I can click Save Giga Drain. Alright, good. That was a much better game. It definitely helped that my opponent sacked their Blacephalon to the Choice Scarf Gengar. I think that was an awful play. They should have definitely scouted for Choice Scarf on the Gengar. The Blacephalon was such a major threat against my team. That being said, of course, I did have Trainitar and the Heatran. They got a bit lucky. They froze my Trainitar and I never unthawed, so that's pretty bad. And also, I did miss the Stun Spore, but what are you going to do? I mean, that's Pokemon. Alright. Let's get another one. This is a pretty fun squad. I really like Heracross. It's fun. Another Blacephalon. Gotta watch out for that. Kartana as well. One of those is going to be Choice Scarf. Then we lead off with their Tornadus. I'm going to lead off with my Trainitar. Yeah, they did lead off with Torn. I'm actually going to click Thunder Wave here. They may decide to stay in and click Knock Off. And if I can get a Thunder Wave off on something, that'd be great. That being said, then they go into Landorus. Oh, they went into Slowbro. Oh, yes, Slowbro. That makes sense. Oh, then the Body Press set. Alright. Well, that's fun. That's fun. I don't really care about that. I'm going to go into Gengar. And I'm going to click Focus Blast. And I miss. So this is just, you know, the struggle known to man. So Heracross. And I'm going to click Earthquake. Earthquake will hit Blacephalon. Does not hit Tornadus though. So my opponent is reading me. I'm going to go into Heatran. They'll probably U-turn. But they don't. Okay. Go for Magma Storm. It'll trap the Slowbro. Of course I can't Toxic the Slowbro, but it is what it is. And then it'll also hit the Landorus for whatever that's worth. Alright. Let's go into Amoonguss here. As they get some U-turn chip, which is nice. I'm gonna click Spore here. Cool. They sack their Born to Sleep. I'll definitely take that. And then the Swords Dance up on this. And I'm gonna click Knock Off on you. They'll probably go into their own Landorus if I had to guess. I'm not exactly sure. So my opponent's getting pretty dang lucky. First turn Wake with their Tornadus. They got a dodge or two. Okay, the Colbur Berry. Plus 2 Earthquake does 60 min. Alright, let's click Earthquake here. And they're dead. Alright, Slowbro's gone. That sort of helps the Heracross, but it doesn't really do too much for my team. It's a weird body press set. Body press Slowbro is sort of fun, but you have to give up so much, right? You have to give up Scald or Future Sight or Teleport, and I think that's just not really worth it. Alright. Kartana. Let's say that if it's Paper Press, if they are banded, then Leaf Blade can knock me out. But Earthquake will knock them out in return. And I do have Scarf Gengar. So, is that a trade I'm willing to make? I don't really know if I have much of a choice at this point. And they were not banded. Good. Or, yeah, that's not a banded roll at all. So they would probably choose Scarf or something. Alright. At this point, we've got to go into something to sack it. Don't really need Heatran for anything else, I don't think. It's sort of nice for Tornadus. I definitely still want to keep a Mungus around if I can help it. I'm gonna go Heatran, just in case they decide to Flamethrower for whatever reason. Okay, Shadow Ball does nothing, good. So, that's a pretty weak Blacephalon. Gonna click the, gonna click my own Landorus again, actually. Yeah, that's better. That's more like it. Alright, now I'm gonna click Knockoff, because they're not gonna stay, and they're gonna go to Landorus, yep. Now Okos, which is nice. Click Heatran again. As we saw, but doesn't do too much. Earth Power here. Okay, they may be tempted to stay in and try to get the roll. As they actually get it, so of course they do. I'm forced to click Shadow Ball here. There's no reason to predict. And the Gengar is doing what it's meant to do, which is outspeeds Blacephalon and Kartana. Alright, at this point, I'm going to sack something. This is knock off to turn. What would you have as your last move? Would you have Hurricane? You might have Hurricane. I'm gonna go Mungus. Alright, that actually worked as a good mid-ground overall. Alright. I'm going to click Stun Spore. And then I'm going to go into Heracross. Because I don't want to let this get too weakened. And now I can click a very safe Facade. And now I'm going to sack the Landorus. I feel like they should always U-turn here. I want to keep the offensive momentum up. And now I can click the knockoff here. Yep, as they go into Tornadus. And then they're going to click the U-turn again, almost assuredly. Let's actually go for knockoff. Alright, at this point, I think I should be pretty safe to win. I don't know though. We got a crit, which means your turn actually killed. But Heracross can come in now and just click close combat really safely. Okay. Now I can actually Giga Drain. I think as long as they don't do a thing that I'm not going to say because I don't want to jinx it. The Giga Drain. Okay, they're really Spadef. So we are wasting sand turns, which is nice. I'm actually going to switch into Gengar hard here. I don't think that's a choke. Alright, but they did predict that. But now they don't have the Spadef boost, I think that I out-heal them. Although maybe not. Oh wow. Okay, I got lucky. I will not deny that. I definitely got lucky there. So my opponent definitely predicted me to go Gengar on that particular turn, predicting the Ice Punch. And so that was a good play on their part. But I got lucky in the end. That is what paralysis is supposed to do. And if we want to talk about that luck, we can talk about the other ways I got lucked. I believe there was at least one in that game. I'm not going to complain. Alright, let's try to get one more. I want to see how far we can push this squad. I think it's pretty decently fun. I don't know if the Amoonguss could be optimized EV-wise. But overall, the Amoonguss hasn't been too bad. Not too bad, not too bad. Alright, got another Buzzwole, which is good to see. I'm actually going to lead off with the Landers this time. Okay. As they lead off with their Tapu Fini, I'm going to go into Amoonguss. I don't think you'd trick a Landers, probably not. Now they're going to go probably into, I'm actually not sure what you'd go into here. Melmetal maybe? Just because it's so safe. Okay, Zapdos. They're willing to let that get put to sleep. I'm going to go Tyranitar here. As they Volt Switch, which is a good play on their part. Lets them go into Buzzwole or into their own Landers or whatever they want. Maybe Melmetal. A little bit risky going to Zapdos there, but I guess more power to him. Alright, I'm going to go into Amoonguss because I got the Rocky Helmet off. And they actually go for Superpower, predicting something. I don't know what that was in terms of a play. I'm going to actually click Spore here, as they are willing to let their Zapdos get put to bed. I will take that. A Sludge Bomb here in case they decide to stay in and try to burn a turn. And now I'm going to go into my Landorus. Landorus is really threatening for them offensively. So at this point I just want to start breaking. They have Buzzwole and they have the Zapdos. So let's click Knockoff. This particular Zapdos is outsped by me. Okay. Gonna knock off there. And they do have a Buzzwole, so I don't want to get this knocked off if I can manage it. I'm actually going to pop it now. If they're going to knock off this turn, I'd rather just use the fly. Alright. I mean, this is screaming your choice Scarf, right? I feel like it's definitely choice Scarf. I mean, and their team is so slow. Between Buzzwole, Melmetal, and this really slow Zapdos, I feel like this has to be Scarfini. At this point, maybe Tyranitar is a good play. Yeah, obviously it's weak to Surf, but you look at how little that did. I'm gonna get up my Stealth Rock here and scout and see if they're going to want to go for Trick or something. Okay, so go Buzzwole here. Buzzwole is decently annoying, but I do have a Amoonguss. And that's what we'll be going into. And this is a bulk up one, which is a bit unfortunate. I'm gonna click Sludge Bomb here. Okay. I'm gonna go into Tyranitar here. Okay, and then I'm going to go into Gengar, maybe. Let's move to 65% min. Yeah, it's probably a choke, but I'm just gonna do it. Okay, I lived. This is good. I'm gonna click Sludge Wave here. As I actually catch the Tapu Fini on the switch in. I was not expecting that. I will take it. Alright. I was really not expecting the Tapu Fini of all mons to come in. But I mean, they've already shown that they're willing to switch in their Zapdos in Misty Terrain on a thing that can Spore. So I don't really know if my opponent knows, like, optimal plays. Amoonguss at this point I think is here for Melmetal, because it can get that double Iron Bash off. This Melmetal is pretty chipped down at this point. The Superpower and double Iron Bash, I don't know. Let's calc it. Metal Choice Banded versus Amoonguss. Double Iron Bash. Doing that much. Or Assault Vest. I think I want to say this is probably Assault Vest if I had to guess. Yeah, 52%, which is in line, I think, maybe with what this is. It's something like that. It's not banded, though. Alright, I'm going to go for Landorus. I'm going to click Knockoff. I don't think you stay in here. I think you go Zapdos, but even if they do stay in, getting this low is pretty dang useful. And if they go into Buzzwole, I mean, I'll definitely take that too. And I guess they could go Volcanion, but that really would be a wild play. And that's one of the reasons why I feel like knockoff is such a powerful move. Because by going for knockoff here, if they go into something that would be choice scarfed, then they can't outspeed me anymore because I knock off the choice scarf. If I go for knockoff, then they can't get recovery from leftovers. Overall, knockoff is a pretty useful move. Of course, they could stay in and I would lose my Landorus because it won't kill Melmetal. But, oh, actually they disconnected. Did not see that. Alright. So how I think this would have played out is that I would have knocked off, either would have gone into Buzzwole, in which case I probably would have gone for Fly, because it's not like they want to switch into that. And then that would have done a lot to Buzzwole, or maybe killed it. If they are Roost, then I don't think it would have OHKO'd, but it would have done a lot of damage, and put him in range of the Gengar Revenge Kill. The Landorus, of course, could die to Melmetal staying in, and clicking Double Iron Bash, which would be fine, because then I can go into my Gengar and safely click Shadow Ball, and they would be able to live it with any of the Mons. It would be a 2k on just about anything, I think. Especially because if this were Assault Vest for whatever reason, they would take Stealth Rock. And then Heracross was also looking pretty good if I could get rid of the Zapdos and have the Buzzwole be pretty low. So overall, I think that was a somewhat fast and loose game, but not bad. And we're actually getting to the 1400s, which is where games are going to start getting a little more scary. Right, in the early part of the ladder, in the thousands and the 1200s even, for the most part, you can just click super effective move in front of you, and you'll be fine. Once you get to the 1400s, I feel like that's the territory where from the 14 to 1600s or so, that's where all the people who are, good at Pokemon, but not good at Pokemon enough to be good live. And so they're all trying to make plays and predict you to do things. And so the ladder becomes a lot more volatile, a lot more prediction reliant. Of course, when you get to the high ladder, that's when the opponents start making, in theory, plays that are optimal. Or at least they like to think that they're making optimal plays. If they were actually doing that, then I feel like they'd be winning a lot more often. But in theory, the 1800s, 1900s, those people are making optimal plays. So you can predict them to make the optimal play and respond to that accordingly. And the low ladder players, you can predict them to make bad plays and then respond accordingly. But we're getting to the point now of the ladder where I'm probably going to start losing a lot more. And it's probably going to be a lot more dicey as to what my opponent goes for, which is fine. I like this part of the ladder too, because you never know what kind of teams you're going to run into or how your opponent's going to play. Anyway, the Power Herb set on Landorus actually wasn't as bad as I was thinking it was going to be. I was pretty prepared for this Landorus set to be really bad, for me to struggle with opposing Landorus, to get knocked off a lot, and then not have my Power Herb for when I needed it. But for whatever reason, I was able to play this team in such a way that it was usually able to get its Fly off, and it usually put in a decent amount of work. The Heracross, I think, is mixed. Heracross is matchup dependent. Against Stallmons, like you saw, it obliterated Corviknight, and it will do the same to just about any other Stallmon. But on the other hand, if you're facing a more offensive-based team, then it's a bit more difficult. I will say the other thing that this team has a big problem with is that this doesn't have any Volt turn, and if you don't have any U-turn to Volt switch or teleport, then it's really hard to get your Heracross in safely. And so it's usually going to have to be relegated to more either a Revenge Killer or a prediction reliant Pokemon. And it's pretty dangerous to make predictions this part of the ladder like that. You can do it, but a little more dangerous. So that will make this Heracross on this particular team struggle a lot more, because there's not a safe way to get it in. If this had a Slowbro over an Amoonguss, maybe that would be a safer way to get it in with Teleport. The Heatran, I think, a little bit dated. Heatran maybe could get switched up a bit or changed up in some way. But it did come in clutch against those Tornaduses. So I can't say it's that bad. And then Tranitar, it's a fine set. I think that maybe having Crunch over Earthquake or Rock Blast might be better, because I felt myself wishing to add Crunch now and again. Gengar put in work though. Maybe in large part due to my opponent's incompetence, but this Gengar was putting in overtime, I feel like. And Amoonguss was alright. Amoonguss wasn't as defensively bulky as I would like. But maybe I have to do this EV spread. I'm not exactly sure what I could do better here. Maybe Tangrowth would just generally be better. But anyway, that's the team for today. And I rambled on long enough, so I'll catch you guys next time.